10 seconds. So look
Can
at
I, yeah, Kurt, can I ask you now, I just created a new domain. I can't even find it. I don't even know. I go on domains and then I find it, but I'm kind of lost right now.
So you guys should see my screen now, and being lost on domains, that's fun. You can just search domains and you'll see them. I'm doing it on stream.
And then what do I do to fill out the rest?
What do you mean? You're at create? Are you at create a domain? Or are you asking where to find them?
I am in the list and I created it. Now I would like to just you know,
Use
YouTube.
Yeah, you go to applications and then application browser and then WordPress and install it and select the right one. Not the wrong one. Now I'm gonna go back to where I was on stream. So basically, you want to choose a layout, right? Minimal work, guys. You can always change this stuff. So we're gonna see what like landing pages exist, but before we do that, we're gonna quickly check Divi for updates, because if there is an update, that means we get new stuff too. So hang on.
Can I ask you something? Because I can't find it. That's the problem that I have. I don't know what the heck I did wrong.
What do you mean?
So when I go on applications, I can't even see the domain that I just made.
All right, Sharon, just join StreamYard. Easy.
Okay.
Are we currently making a pink unicorn?
No, we're not. Check live stream. It's re-live now. You're looking at old live. Oh, look, social media funnel. How funny is that? So any landing page will really work, because you can always like change it. So I'm gonna find one cool one. Do one for AI Tutor or Pixio. Let's see. So you guys choosing a landing page with me? We want, the idea is to like make it good. And there's like a bunch of stuff we have to do to make it good. And then we have to install some stuff to the other WordPress, which we're going to talk about. And for you, Sharon, that's your current WordPress. Like the one you're using for your magazine. Not this one, but the other one. You'll see. I like this one. It's really cool. So I'm going to choose this one. I chose the green one. Let me share it. Oh, Sharon joined us in live stream.
And the new live stream guys is green. Oh,
nice. Thanks, guys. Let me reshare the live stream, actually.
How do I change?
And the new live stream guys is up in the mess in case somebody needs that quickly.
Oh, nice. Thanks, guys. Also, guys, look at my super cool landing page.
It's so wonderful to see you.
It's all animated and stuff.
Make sure that you are
So good.
refreshing.
Also, I really like green.
I love how Sharon has to push the button in order to talk. I love seeing her on the screen. You're just so pretty. It's so wonderful to see you. So yes, make sure that you are refreshing the web page so that you can have the live stream. If it is stuck, that is why.
Now you made Sharon nervous.
I did not.
Oh, I just don't want to take up space there because the screen needs to be shown, right? That's why.
Sure.
I want to see the puppy. I'm all about the dog, feeding them, making sure that they're happy. Happy dogs are happy people.
They are. Well, the little dog is annoying. He wants to sit on my lap all the time, but I'm moving around, so I can't, So he's sitting beside me and waiting for me to pick him up. And I'm like, not yet.
I wish I could say the same. My dogs are 140 pounds, and yes, they do want to sit on your lap, but there's no bueno there. So just saying.
So funny, isn't
But
it?
yes.
The big dog also comes and wants to, and then she just jumps up and just throws her paws over me, her legs, right?
There's no love. Actually, it's all love. You know, humans don't deserve their companions in that respect. I swear, dogs make us better humans. They really
That's
do.
so true, Sarah. That's so true.
I see you down there, Stephanie and Monique. I'm giving you both hugs. And I see Fighter is also down here. I haven't seen him in a long, long time or just heard his voice. We are having a class here. So for all of our familiar faces that may not realize that we're actually doing a class, but you're still here anyway, just kind of poking around and figuring out what's going on. This is the third season. We've gone through 2 seasons prior. So we learned how to build a SaaS, and then we learned how to build our own WordPress kind of ecosystem. And now we're working on communities and modules and all of these wonderful little things in the background, and learning how all of the Lego blocks plug into the thing that we built last season. So for those of you that are new, that is what we're kind of muddling through together, figuring out all of these little pieces. And so sometimes there's working in the background, other times there's, just chit chat, but hopefully the folks that are working in the background, if they're hitting snags, please come up and enlighten folks. I see that Rutro has arrived also. Nice to see you on this Wednesday evening, friend Renan and Jeff also, and Maksud. I also saw that Dan and Elpdio are also here, made coin. I don't want to forget anybody, so I have a teeny tiny screen just so you're aware. But if you do have any questions, always make sure you can DM. You can put them in the purple bubble. Things that you are now progressing on. We are in the 4th week, which means some other things have to kind of coalesce. You're now building something or having some working somethings. It's time to kind of test them. Because one of the other things that, if we didn't do our homework, okay, and you don't have the modules, it's really hard to test them. These nights are the time where you can test them. You can figure out what's going on and what's wrong, but you can also get feedback from your Pocket family. I just want to encourage each and every person that has gotten this far to go into the Innovators Think Tank and sign up for a pitch. You don't have to have a finished project, but you do have to have the ability to communicate to others what the heck you're building. And sometimes we don't really know it until you actually work out. We've had so many people come into, those spaces and pitch their idea only to find out, hey, you know what? I did not even think of that facet. Someone asked a good question, or maybe it was, why are you here? What's your, your hair on fire thing that Alex Damsker always mentions? What are you solving? Those kinds of questions. And those are really things that we all need to think about. So as you're building these modules and you're collecting the data and you're understanding all of these little pieces, how do they fit into a bigger overall why, our purpose for being here? Whatever your good or your service is, what is it solving? And then in the process, on the flip side, when they're coming to your landing page is basically offering a solution. It's telling your core customer, hey, by the way, I have a solution. Here is how you can purchase it right here and now. This is how you can take the next step here and now. Here's the next action that you can take. It's a call to action. So if you don't know what a call to action is, like I said, Saturdays are your days. That's how we kind of sit back and talk through with so many different experts in marketing, experts in, building, and experts in all sorts of fields of study and business models, right? It's how we hone our skills as entrepreneurs. And then in that little facet, the ability to pitch. That's your moment to find your voice, summon it, and explain what the heck you've built, right? And all of us are there to help spur you on. Nick, Alisher, and Ross have built this ecosystem and given you all of the tools to make that idea come into fruition and have impact on others. You have to bring it out into the world. They're helping you do that. Once it's out in the world, you got to figure out how to make people understand that it's there. You have to point it out, you have to show it. That's where the Innovators Think Tank comes in. That's a whole big picture, and suite, for lack of a better term, of tools that you need to have in your corner pocket, especially if you're a solopreneur. So I want to make sure to put that out there and reiterate it. And we do it over and over again. Sometimes it sticks, other times it doesn't. But if you need help building out your business plan, we're all volunteers. We're not paid to be here. We just want the world to be a more vibrant and awesome place. And we need more innovation. We need more awesome ideas. We need more people that are coming up, stepping up to the plate and willing to run the bases, slide into home base with nothing else. They've just completely laid it all on the field. They voided all the warranties and they own it. There's something really powerful about ownership and having something that you have built from tip to toe. That achievement is something that it's contagious, and I can explain it. I can put it into words. I've built many businesses, but you can't really know what it means and how it feels until you've done it yourself, until you've had that win. And as a entrepreneur in general, it's a lonely journey. You're not going to have a lot of people that are going to, spur you on. A lot of times you're working in nights and weekends when everybody else is, catching up on the Netflix or the series or binge watching this, that, and the other thing. They have the luxury of having time off. Entrepreneurs don't. They just don't. You're always constantly building, constantly working behind the scenes, pushing hours and building things that sometimes other people have no idea why you're there, why you're doing it. But I just want you to know that we do. We understand. We've been there, we've done that. And we're your cheering section. So we want to see you succeed. And if there's something that we can help you with, we need to make sure that you come up and ask those questions, because as gifted as some of us are, we're not mind readers. So not yet, at least not until we're augmented with the rest of AI, I suppose. But nonetheless, how many people have gone ahead and built that second site? Because that's the other thing too. A cPanel allows us to do all sorts of crazy stuff. Having access to Divi and all of the other wonderful templates and bells and whistles and who's its and what's its. You know what? The only way to really know what they do is to open up the package, void the warranties, and try them out. Right. So you're not going to screw up too much, as most people know here. And I'll reiterate it once again for some of the new folks that are in the room and definitely in the listening audience. This is a sandbox that is created in tandem, in collaboration between Innovators Think Tank. So you've got Nick, or pardon me, you've got Matea, you've got Cash Money Kev, Josh, and Luke. That's that side. And then you have Nick, Alisher, and Ross from TSI. And the tools that we're playing with in our digital backpacks are on a playground that is TSI. It's kind of like playing, well, bowling with the bumpers. And so we can play the game sort of without losing the ball completely and really fracking things up, right? So we have to kind of play by their rules. But when they do that, we are able to have a cohort behind the scenes help us if we totally frack it up, which is always ideal. There's not very much you can totally screw up, but you can get yourself into trouble if you're moving ahead and not knowing what all of these things do. So we're at a point now in our season 3, week 4, where we know enough to be dangerous. which is always a good thing with makers. We know just enough to be dangerous, which means there are some things that we can get ourselves into trouble with. So just make sure you're paying attention. If you're too tired, step away for a second. For those that are our future dwellers, we have Thursday mornings at 11 o'clock where we have a postmortem. So we'll go over everything that we went through this evening. But I highly recommend, even if we're going to make this evening short, we don't know that for sure or not. Hi, Bob, I see you waving. If we're done with this evening's lesson, then we call it good. That's the way it is. But Thursdays are for our future dwellers. So because we know that it's a very, very late night for them. And we go over everything once more. And Alisher usually talks us through things. So it gives us the ability to really solidify that muscle memory. When you're building these websites and you're going through the motions over and over again, it becomes second nature to you. But also be cognizant of the fact that you don't want to just flip through all the buttons, right? Sometimes when it becomes so familiar, you're like click, 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 and then you overlook something, and then things go wonky. That's when we need you to come up and tell us, hey, what you did wrong. Sometimes you just need a fresh set of eyes on the problem. It could be a missing period. It could be a missing, capital letter or space that you missed completely. It could have been a box that you didn't realize was checked. Those are the kinds of things that you need your Pocket family to help you along the way, especially if a lot of this stuff is new to you. So at any rate, I see that Bob has arrived. He's kind of come on up. Happy Wednesday to you, friend. How are you?
Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I am doing okay. Thank you very much. I was feeling a little bit off earlier today, so I had a nap. Hence, I am awake at this time. I'm in the UK, so it's not 7:34 p.m. Central. It's actually 1:34 a.m. in London. Yeah, do you know what? I saw that this space was going. I haven't been in spaces for a week since I ran a few days since my space on a Sunday, and I haven't attended other people's spaces. And I saw this space running, and I wanted to come in because I'm doing something. I've been doing something for 2 weeks. I've been working on something, and then lo and behold, I come into the space and I see the topic of the space: build a community platform with WordPress or on WordPress. I can't believe it. It's exactly what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. So I've been using WordPress, BuddyPress, BBPress, and a few other plugins to set up a platform for my community, because I realized I don't know, 2 weeks ago that I would have been showing up for 5 months last week. So last weekend, it was my 5 months showing up anniversary. And I figured, well, I need somewhere to post articles, but I also don't have a website for the community yet. So I'll knock 2 birds down with 1 stone, and I'll put a place that I can post articles. So I figured I'd use WordPress. And then I figured, well, I might as well make the community website as well. So I'm like in this pre-launch testing phase where I thought I'd come in here and ask you guys, how do I start networking? And because I don't like DMs, I don't like doing DMs. I don't like asking people for stuff, but I've got to the point where I've got an ask and I need to build a pre-launch testing team. How do I start doing that? But then I come in and it's exactly the topic of what I am doing right now. I don't know. Do you guys believe in fate?
I think it's serendipitous. No, but and all actuality, Bob, there is a Slack channel here, and what it was very fascinating is that this is the 3rd session or the 3rd series, and some of the tools that you get when you're able to take the classes. These are all free, by the way. So we're using our cPanels and we're using Divi to create some of the templates. And right now, the CRM component is through vTiger. And so the many different modules that people are putting in and connecting, it's very fascinating. It's something that we're all kind of learning together. So if you want to go back and listen to the previous classes, they've all been recorded. And so the down and dirty, the quick and easy is on Thursdays, where it's like an hour segment, where you can actually go through the entirety of the projects. But if you do have questions, comments, and concerns, always put them down in the purple bubble. All of us are trying to learn. So to teach is to learn twice. So if you're hitting a snag or something is not working, even though it might not be the tools that you're using or we're using, right? We're trying to test our knowledge about the various vernacular and definitions. So sometimes it's testing our own metal, for lack of a better term, when you're asking questions and we're like, that is something I didn't think about and I don't know what you're talking about. But then sometimes it could be something that we could actually ask you. But I'm glad that you're here, and I hope that you can glean some nuggets, some golden nuggets to take with you. I see that Sharon has her
And-
hand up,
Sure.
and I don't know if she wants to
I
answer
just wanted
you
to tell
or go ahead.
real quick, Sarah, that
Dan, I think, right? Dan has his hand up too. I
Does he really? Jeez, I can't even see it. Go ahead, Cash Money.
I didn't know. I thought I was having a Starlink issue there for a second. My bad. I didn't want to step on any toes, but Bob, I know you're having. You said you don't want to deal with the DMs and the networking. I highly recommend, brother, coming to a Saturday ITT and signing up for a pitch, and you can pitch your community, and that'll help a lot with finding the people that you're looking for, I think. And also on our website, we have a hub where you can post the community that you're building out. And yeah, you can get some great feedback there, and highly recommend it, Bob. And that's so cool. I love these random, I call them God thread moments where it's just random moments like these. I love that. We got another guy doing the exact same thing. He comes in here into the space week 4, and he says, "Man, I need some help on this too. This is awesome." I love the synchronicity. But sorry for stepping on toes there, Sarah. Dan, I did see the hand shoot up, and we'll go over to you, and then Sharon, and I saw Jeff's hand shoot up too. But if you didn't have a question anymore, it's all good. But over to you, Dan.
Amazing. And Sarah, don't worry. I was going to do like this is the ghost of Dan, kind of interjection eventually.
Well, I don't even see
That's
you at
okay.
all. That's the whole funny thing. I'm going to take a lap. So continue with what you're
amazing.
speaking.
Yeah, well, this is actually, kind of a question to all of the expertise in the room. And Bob, I love hearing that, of that synchronicity. But like Ross said at the beginning of the space, all the cool kids are, running the world through the internet. So this is, I think there's just, a lot of really amazing energy going in the same direction. And it's always nice to, look over and see people running at your side. So my question, I actually kind of took a little bit of an analog week, if you can believe it, because I got pulled into teaching a songwriting camp kind of last minute this week. And so when I was doing all of the module work and just kind of crashing around and using the bump and go method to just like build modules that I didn't even know what the point of it was, I came to the conclusion that I've got to go back to basics. And when I was teaching this camp, I ran into one of my daughter's instructors from a game theory camp that she took last year, where they actually were coding in Unity. And the first day they had no computers were used, nothing digital. They had construction paper, and the prompt was make your game on construction paper. So just long story short, after kind of running into to walls that I didn't really have a reason to go through, and like these modules, I was kind of realizing I needed to have like a schematic, like a wireframe version of what am I even trying to build and how does it all fit together? Because I have a piece here, a piece there, lots of cool ideas, but not a lot that is fully connected in a way that somebody can, getting down to the user experience, actually navigate. So it brings me to my question, and this is for everybody. I have so many things that I am asking for nominal payments for this, for that, the other thing, and knowing that there's so many payment options out there, and I think it's wise to consider as many as are viable to kind of widen that net of being able to close a sale and to boy, I don't know why that word is that's still uncomfortable for me. Like close a sale. I got to get used to that. But I thought of like making a payment hub, as its own individual WordPress site, and I'm just trying to, think, is there any reason to not do that? Because maybe either it's something everybody does and they have a central payment site where they just kind of, have people navigate through as they're clicking buttons and putting things in carts and whatever. Or is that some kind of security nightmare and a reason that no, I should not do that, and there's no way that that could be a really effective way of kind of navigating the stream of payments. So that's my question, and I think that will really help me determine what modules I even need to build in vTiger, because there's a lot of playing in the sandbox, but I ended up with a lot of piles of sand and not much structure. So I need to kind of build that structure, and that's where I want to start from. I'm kind of backwards mapping, like, so I made a sale. How did they get there? And that's just how my brain has to work right now. So that's a question for anybody that has a response or an experience or like a cautionary tale.
It's a good idea. I did it for years. Centralized payment page. So whatever service you're offering, they pay in one place. It's a good idea. It actually decreases nightmares. But then eventually you want to have it, working within the platforms that people are using. But it's a great way to start, honestly. I remember when I first started doing stuff, I would just have a product, people would buy it, I would go put it in the Eastwood store. Like it didn't exist 5 minutes ago. Like I'd get off the phone with them, I would go to Eastwood, log in, go to my store, add a product, it would show up on the website immediately, like we did in season 2, and they would buy it. And that would be like a really easy way for someone to pay me for a service that I've done. Like zero friction. It's pretty seamless actually. And then I go and just delete the product. Like I would put a product with their name on it. And they would go to the store, see their name, pay, and then it would be deleted. And then when they need to pay the balance, turn it back on for the other half. Then turn it off. It's really cool. That's why building the way that we teach you to build is super scalable. Because it's how we got started and how we started to build platforms. But like now, fast forward like 600 users plus, I would want to use it like within the platform, right? So like Stripe is handled within AI Tutor and Pixio rather than like go one place and buy something, because then it would get kind of confusing. But like to start, it's a great idea.
That makes me so happy, Ross, to hear you say that. Yay!
And if you guys have been looking at the live stream while I've been talking, I'm actually doing the next section right now. I'm literally using Pixio and making cool graphics that I want to use on the website.
Ross, I
What's
can't,
up?
I can't really do much because I'm lost with the domain.
What do you just join, take over live stream? That's why you're here. Take it over.
Share my screen. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Sarah.
just take over. I'm sure your problem will help someone.
Share your problem, share your forget is that when you're teaching somebody else, when you're kind of going through the motions and saying, hey, you have to do this and this and this, what's really fascinating is that it engages a different part of your brain. And so it's not only that you're understanding the material on a different level, it's that you're also understanding how to, regurgitate it back to somebody else. And sometimes, you're kind of learning in real time how to communicate. So, one of the hardest things for us as in my industry is when you're teaching somebody, you forget that they're a newbie, and sometimes you just go right through their head, right over their head, and you're just going, and they're like, wait a second, I have no idea how you got from point A to point B. And then you sit there and you go, I remember. And then it takes you back to that moment where you remember those first moments. And there's an empathy, there's a bond, there's a connection that's created that is just so incredible. It really does attach us to the timeline of history, fingerprints at a time. I see that Dan has his hand up, and I do see that there must be a live mic somewhere. It's probably Ross trying to chime in because I'm babbling on.
No, it's me, but I'm not trying to chime in.
Oh, very good. Oh, I'm glad that you have a live mic. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, just on that note, I don't know how many in here subscribe to Taylor Simmons, but he had a newsletter that came out today that told, I guess, a pretty popular story about ham, and I hadn't heard it before. But long story short, there was a mother that was teaching her daughter how to cook ham, and it was basically the first step in cooking the ham was you trim off the sides. And so she just grew up trimming off the sides, then she'd boil the ham, and then they'd serve it. And 20 years later, she was teaching her own daughter how to make ham. And the daughter questioned well, why do I have to trim off the sides? And mom said, well, you just have to. That's how you do it. That's how you make ham. And then they kind of got in a little argument. And then finally the mom asked her mom, why did you take the sides off the ham? And she said, well, so it could fit in the pot. We had a very small pot. So that's just to say that sometimes the context changes when you're teaching somebody. And that's when you really, just in my experience, get to know what the actual lesson is when you're teaching it to somebody else, because you learned in a certain context. But when you try and teach somebody else, they could have a completely different stumbling point than you did. And you learned how to navigate that stumbling point. Like maybe you had a small pot or something. But there's this deeper understanding that not only can you solidify a lesson through the repetition and through having that autonomic nature to it, but also being able to adapt. And I think that is what we're all learning in real time, is that adaptability is very marketable. If we can overcome the challenges that we have in our own set of circumstances and in the unique challenges that present themselves as we're doing this work together, that just makes a rich and vibrant community of problem solvers. So, and that just, as you were talking, that's what came to mind. So the other thing in the newsletter today was also a quote I've never heard, but apparently popular, Carl Jung. And it was simply, people don't have ideas, ideas have people. And so we get to be the people together that are working through these problems.
Oh my gosh, Dan, that was so wonderful. And it's wonderful what you just said. And what Sarah said before, that we need people with ideas and innovative ideas, right? We coming the dude is in the background again. He's doing his thing. So anyways, coming together in the ITT, you can't even imagine how inspiring that is, right? This is the reason why ITT even exists. It's just crazy. Coming together, figuring things out, just talking with one another. That's what sparks ideas, right? Being in the moment together and just doing stuff together. you know, last week I didn't have all these ideas that I had, but the homework that Ross gave us just made me really come up with stuff. And then coming back to you guys and then speaking about it, then new ideas happen and then just keeps going on and on and on and on. There is no AI in the world that can replace that. This is human. This is what it means to be human. That's very important for us to understand because many people are scared. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to do this and whatever. But look at all the ideas that we're having here now. And AI is not going to be able to make that, is not going to be able to do this. So we need to be aware of that. And, you know, even if you lose your job, there are other jobs waiting for you. And this is where we need to be. We need to be here, ITT, every Wednesday, every Saturday. This is my church. This is how, you know, this is where I come. Of course, if I have something to do, but I only missed one of these Wednesday sessions, only one because my car broke down, my brakes. But other than that, if nothing urgent happens, I'm here because this is where we need to be. And I'm just so thankful for you guys. Josh is not here, but Cash Money Kev and Mattia and the TSI team, I'm just so thankful for all of you. And Sarah, for you too, because it's just wonderful. I'm just happy to be here. And everyone else, everyone that shows up here every week and hangs out with us, asks them questions, just gets the thing done, breaks it, fixes it again, frustrated, it doesn't really matter. It's so wonderful. I'm so happy that I'm part of this. This is a wonderful journey.
You know, it's funny. Humans are perfectly, wonderfully flawed. They really are. They can be mean. They can be ugly. They can make you see plaid. They can tick you off. They can make you have vengeful, angry thoughts. They can elicit all of the 7 deadly sins in one word. They can do all those things. But humans are also just crazy, amazing, awesome. They can love unconditionally, without reason, logic, whatever. They can make you laugh to the point where your sides hurt, like just out, absolutely guffaw, snorting, laughing. They'll stand by you and they'll count your tears. Those are the kinds of things that technology can never replace. And when you're building side by side with one another, one of the things that I've learned in building maker spaces over the last 20 years, it doesn't matter which language you speak, it doesn't matter where you live in, people who build together, whether it's around a kitchen table making handmade pasta, whether it's in the back shed with your grandfather sharpening tools and maybe taking a tree down. Whatever it is that you're building with one another, what's interesting is it adheres us to the timeline of history, the story of togetherness. It's a story around a campfire of humanity that is passed on for generations. When we're building these things with a WordPress, let's say, on the surface, yeah, it's a content manager. You know, it's collecting data, little bits and snippets. But ultimately, they're people that matter. They're people that you want to hold on to. They're people that you want in your business. You want in your world. They're interesting stories. They're folks that have lived interesting lives and have wonderful experiences. They're people that you yourself, because of your talents, skills, tools, and ideas, want to help, want to serve. And I think that's the most human thing, to have an entrepreneurial mindset, because 9 times out of 10, it's not about the money. It is cool to be able to make your own money. No question about it. It makes your life so much easier. But even when you have a ton of money, what's the first thing that you do? You tithe it, you give it to somebody else, you use it to invest in others. Sometimes it's profitable, sometimes it's not. You put food on the table. You learn how to be a human. You know, there are lots of different things that happen. And that's one of the things that's so important about this class, is that for many people, it's the opportunity to change their stars, their station in life. It changes everything for them. These are tools and things that, you know, you might not be able to afford or pay for, but if you leverage them correctly, you're not going to have to worry about money again. It just takes that time and determination and the want. No one else can get that for you. That's the one thing that, we can come together as a huge pocket family. We can spur each other on to greatness, but we can't force someone to want to work hard or work, towards a bigger something. That's all on you. And hopefully, by coming and visiting to these groups on Saturdays and on Wednesday, you don't feel so alone. You don't feel like you're building in solitude. You don't feel like, you are stuck. You have nowhere to go. You have all these folks that have interesting ideas and solutions sometimes, and they're just put out into the wild, in our conversation. Every single major faith, don't care what it is, has some kind of scripture, mantra, parable that says, do not give up meeting with one another. And if you're a person of the scripture of Bible faith, that would be in Hebrews 10:25. Don't give up meeting with one another. Why is that? It's because people go feral. We don't become a part of a tribe. And there's something inherent. There's a wisdom. There's a handed down wisdom that says, hey, you know what? You need other people. John Donne wrote about it in the 1600s. No man is an island. It's the same thing. You're showing up and you're building with one another. But, when I'm building my business, Starboss, Sharon, Kirk, Kathleen, Jeff, Dan, Ross, Nick Alisher, Matea, Kevin, you're all baked into my business plan. I can't think of going forward, building something awesome without including my pocket family. And how does that play out? Really simple. I know what all your businesses are. If I know that someone needs help doing XYZ, whatever that is, I'll go through my Rolodex of pocket family and say, you know what? I could help you with this, but there's someone much better that I know that I've built side by side with, that I know has these core competencies and is much better at it. And not only that, that's their superpower. Someone who loves to code, someone who loves, UI, someone that loves to build, WordPress blogs. I am not one of those people. I can do it now because I've went through the slog and I understand what it takes to build this thing. And I have a deep, profound, profound respect for those people that love how to do this, because I just want to poke my eyes out with scissors when it comes to some of the coding. And I don't care if I have an AI cohort, it's still not fun. But I know that some of you find that this is your Super Bowl. And I'm so geeked that you're in my world, because I want you to have your Super Bowl. And I want to sit there with my bowl of popcorn to watch you do your Super Bowl and win. Those are the kinds of things that we have to think about. But I do think that that's what you were talking about, Sharon. And I think that's the takeaway on all of these Wednesday nights. I'm sitting here watching this screen go by at Mach speed. And there's this love-hate relationship with watching Ross go through things this quickly. One, I'm insanely jealous that I can't do it. And that sometimes I'm looking at him going, how is he doing this? This is just boom, 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 boom. But in the same breath, how insanely proud I am of him and his willingness to transfer his skills to us, perfect strangers that we've never met in real life. But he's here doing this to build up others first. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty cool. And so I just want to give the man his flowers, and the same breath say, gal, you're annoying for being able to do this so quickly. But that comes with years and years of dedication and practice and tears in the middle of the night, working to build a business, to build something, to build a skill set that no one else can take away from him. And I think that's pretty cool. The things that you've learned here over the course of the last couple sessions, and obviously these past 4 weeks, no one can take away from you. All of the skills, all of the stuff that are not skills, but the stuff in your digital backpack, if it goes away tomorrow, you know what? You at least have an understanding. You could rebuild. And that's really a powerful thing too. When all hell breaks loose and you feel like you're hanging by a thread and everything's taken away from you, they can't take away your skill set, and they can't take away your proficiencies and your competencies and the ability to do stuff. And they can't take away your will to go ahead and slog through it, because I'll tell you what, these nights have not been easy. And there have been nights that I know there were tears, and I know there were new swear words that AI has learned. I definitely know that for a fact. So at any rate, for those that are watching, Ross, flip through. Hopefully some of these screens are jogging some memories. When he's pulling up Divi, when he's doing, all of these little pieces, hopefully they're saying, I get it. I remember that. If you're sitting there kind of moving your mouse side by side, thinking, I get it. I understand that. That's huge. That's stuff that you can't pay for, put it that way. That means that you've put in the time, and you actually are kind of having some of this stuff stick, which is pretty cool. So at any rate, I see that Bob has his hand up. I don't see any other hands. So if I am missing someone and I'm just filling in time, you can kick me in the teeth later, lovingly, as a Pocket family member should, siblings, etc. Ross, if you need to chime in too. But go ahead, Bob. What do you have to say, friends?
Hey. So you've mentioned Divi many times, and I haven't used it. Can somebody give me the advantages of using Divi?
It's got all these stuff. I mean, you can make anything. It's like these little templates. I had no idea what this thing was. And still, honestly, I don't even know to the full extent of how powerful the tool is, because I've only seen a very small glimpse. But I can tell you, the people who do build websites, that's all they talk about. It's how cool it is, and how it gives you the ability to just create incredible things real quick. It's like templates and such, but don't take my word for it. I saw that Jeff has his hand up, and I would love to hear what some of the other folks in the audience say, especially you like web people, the folks that love to build these sites. I thought it was pure magic, because I'm used to seeing things like, let's say, Squarespace or Wix, but you're really limited by the ability. What you see is what you get, right? And in that ecosystem, it is just so freaking powerful. And then when you combine it with AI, it's even more so. It blew me out of the water how tailored, even just a handful of pages, and how I could really see what I was envisioning come to pass. I couldn't do that with, let's say, a Wix or a Squarespace, because I'm kind of retrofitting the things that I thought I needed or wanted. And in Divi, I get to be the creator, the maker. I get to build worlds and have that like God gene, it's kind of cool. I don't deserve that kind of power, because I can frack it up faster than most folks, I suppose. But go ahead, Jeff, and then Dan, you can fill in. Help your friend Bob here understand what Divi has meant to you. I do know that it's very, very costly, and I do know that in any other circumstance, I would not be able to purchase it on my own or pay for a subscription. That TSI and their collaborations with these ecosystems have afforded us the opportunity to play with them and have them. And that to me is mind blowing. I mean, it puts a lump in your throat because of how many people have been able to have really cool things that are very expensive, courtesy of the class. But go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Bob, it's good to hear from you. Haven't heard you in a while. Sarah pretty much nailed it. It's really just a pre-built template and web page builder. Elementor, there are several other variations of the same concept out there. Most website development platforms have some form of it. These ones are just even the free versions, because you can download if you've got like a cPanel, you can easily download into a WordPress page the basic plugin and start building pages with that. We just because we've been in the classes, we're getting a full-blown package, fully licensed, and it's just, but they're amazingly powerful, and they're just fast, simple, easy ways. Just to give an example, I knew from last week that not only did we have to have a new website, but we were supposed to have a template of some sort up on it. And while I'm watching Ross do what he does, and I cannot touch, like Sarah said, I can't touch his pace, and the things he can do. And I don't have access to Pixio, so I don't get a lot of the graphic stuff that he can play with. But I've been, just while we've been sitting here the last hour or so, I've been going through and doing a complete edit on the template that I had downloaded, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through it already, just in this short session, just for a basic landing page. So they're tools that are just so simple and easy to use once you get a handle on how to work with them. And Divi happens to be one of the best ones out there.
Yeah, Jeff, I'll dovetail from there. For me, I'm coming off of using Wix. And you have to see the air quotes, managed Wix for our nonprofit for about a year. And it was just kind of running into a lot of brick walls to do a simple placement of an object. So I think it had a bit higher of a learning curve for me, because I'm used to those done for you cookie cutter template sites. But once I actually realized the power of it, and then there's also a repository of tutorials and templates and everything that you can use, it's so easy to just be able to take, like Sarah said, what is in your head and realize it. So for me, it was, instead of spending 2 hours tricking Wix into having a margin of 1.25 inches instead of 1.5 inches or something on a desktop, and then having to do the same thing and figure out all of the muckety-muck for cell phones, you can actually really easily switch between things. And what I finally found was being able to kind of use the wireframe view as a guide. And that to me was very, very powerful, because I didn't have to, learn an entire new backend. I could just use the same architecture of the whole site at an overview, which just helps my brain a lot more visually, and say okay, well, I can see what is and is not connected, and I can easily go in there and look at the sub layers of, am I changing up something at the level of a page? Am I changing something at the level of a segment or whatever? So it opens up the backyard fence into more of a plot of land.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. Jeff, Dan, I appreciate that. How about a comparison between Elementor and Divi? You guys, anybody used both of those?
Yeah, I actually use all of them. And I would just say I purposely shut up because I wanted to see how you guys were gonna explain it. And you did really, really good job. So nice work.
Yay! Go us! No, go Ross.
But yeah, they're all good. It just depends on what you're trying to do. For me, we like Divi because we use it in classrooms with students. It's great for learning. It's great for modular building. It has a huge community around it. And the base version, though not free like Elementor, so there's no free version, unfortunately, but you can tell the difference in nothing breaks. Everything cohesively works together. All the plugins and things just work. There's no glitches. With Elementor, if you have a module and the wrong version of Elementor and the module didn't update, the whole thing crashed. So there's a few downsides. We've used them all, but Divi's very stable for new builders, and it makes everything really, really easy. And they load the site with premium plugins that help you build, whether it's backups,
And-
SEO, all these free things that you get as part of Divi.
And clients.
Say again?
Oh, and clients, like when you hand it off to the clients, they can actually work in Divi.
Correct.
Like,
So it has
Yeah.
like a whole internal way to transfer it. And it's also widely used amongst people that have multiple WordPress sites because of its modularity, honestly. Like you can create a Divi plugin with AI Tutor or ChatGPT. Like you could be like, write me this plugin and it will work. And it's just like a lot of the issues of like, this won't listen or this code won't work. Divi fixes all this with custom Divi code, which can attack any part of the website in real time, which is what I did a little bit of here to customize the look and feel of the site. I built this, by the way, in maybe 15 minutes with Divi, what you see on stream. But overall, it is good. You know, you can check YouTube and do your own research, but the only way you're gonna get a lot out of Elementor is paying for them. And if you're gonna pay for them, you might as well like look at other paid options too. That would be my advice.
All right. Not bad. Thanks so much for the feedback on the question. I appreciate it.
Ross, I just wanted to tell you that the research tool works fantastic.
Is it better? Like, would you say it's like alarmingly better?
It seems to be more thorough. I don't know what you did.
Well, I told you what I did. Every time you make a prompt, it hires an agent, uses our backend system, and constructs 4 agents: a researcher, an interpreter, someone to speak to the client, aka you, and then someone to have an opinion. And all 5 of them work together.
That's crazy because it's way more thorough now.
You can see, like, as soon as you start your prompt, it'll say like creating this agent or hiring this agent.
Well, it was there before. The same thing was, but it seems more thorough now because I had that thing before too. It did show.
Well, now it's multi-agent.
It's multi-agents. That's the difference. There you go. Okay. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, we're launching it after this tonight. Kirk's gonna make a space about it. He just doesn't know about it yet.
Kirk.
Yeah. I'll get that queued up and ready to go, and the link will be live. I used the report while we were doing this and created articles on Substack and Civit and published them. So with the report,
crazy. Between that and like Bookify, you can like give your subscribers like a whole book every week, written by you.
Yeah,
that's so crazy. Like, pick a topic, be like, dive in what a comfy UI node is, write a whole 100-page book. Now that is like good content coming in a newsletter. A free ebook, sick.
Yeah.
This is a Flux report, so I did a little Flux report. It's pretty cool.
Good.
Awesome job, Ross.
Yeah, thank you for testing it. We're going live literally tonight.
That's so amazing. It's like a digital Freyer model. Like, represent this in 4 different ways with 4 completely different sensibilities. That's so incredible.
And Bob, you are invited. They do have after school hours. So directly after the space, they goof around afterwards. Sometimes they're just building side by side. For those that have never attended, maybe it's just that you need to get caught up on your website or you need to build, and sometimes you hit a snag. It's like having real time help from other fellow classmates here that are in the space. And Kirk, you are a gem of a human, absolute treasure for everything that you do behind the scenes for folks. You are definitely a good human. So just so everybody is aware that all are welcome. It's not just a secret club with a handshake or something. Go ahead, honey.
Thank you. Just thank you so much. That was very kind.
You're a good bird. I'll keep you. That's it. If you
same to you.
That's a pocket. That's what Pocket Family is. I mean, seriously, when you think about it, biology gives us one family, right? You can't really break free of that one. You have biology; it's the way of the genes. It's science, but life allows us to cobble together our own, and that's where our Pocket Family comes in. Is that the universe always conspires with us, and that's not hooey new age. Do 5 circles in a row and say Beetlejuice or something. It is completely true, that if you have the desires of your heart and you let it out in the wild, the universe will conspire and send you the folks that share your North Star. You will have fellow travelers, and those fellow travelers are just outstanding people. They really are. And they will push you, and they will help you and hone you and be the iron that sharpens iron to get you to where you need to go, and that Providence has set aside for you. I guarantee it. So go ahead, Bob.
All right. So I think I said I'd been showing up for 5 months. Like a few days ago was my 5-month anniversary. And the acts of showing up and engaging with people led to about 40 different coffee chats. And I was very apprehensive about doing this again because I'd done it before, and somehow I ended up in circles that I don't know what it was, but it wasn't what I needed. But this time around, I've met so many amazing, helpful people. And one of the spaces that I ran was, early on, I had a lot of questions. And one of the spaces I ran was about why. Why are we doing this? I think Ikigai came up and I had a little graphic for that. But I delved down into every speaker that came into the space. And the answer was to help others. I want to help other people. And I thought that was pretty amazing because that's what I'm doing it for too. I want to help others. So, Sarah, I just thought I'd respond with that for a moment. Guys, take a deep breath and appreciate the people that want to help, because there's, I don't think the world is like, I don't think everybody's like that, but if you can find those people, let's go. I certainly did. And I'm so happy to have actually taken the first step and started showing up again. Okay. I don't know where I'm going with this. I did have another question, but what you said made me actually say what I just said instead. So when I remember what the question was, I'll raise my hand again.
Well, you are with your people. I often forget what I'm going to say, usually midstream. And luckily, our folks here, we extend each other grace and show each other some mercy, and sometimes giggle snort alongside with them. But as you can see, go ahead. I know you just remembered.
I
Go
just
ahead.
remembered. Yeah, the question I wanted to ask was, are you guys like on a Zoom call or something? Is that what you're live streaming? Because I came in, I'm not sure where you're live streaming or whether you're on a Zoom or whatnot.
Nope, we're not on a Zoom. The innovatorsthinktank.com. We always put the links up in the top. We don't want any of our students. We do have a lot of young makers also, especially on Saturday nights. And by young makers, I mean high schoolers. Tech in Schools puts AI in the hands of high schoolers, and sometimes they visit. So we try to keep everything definitely PG and stuff that we would allow our grandmothers and our youngest siblings to come to. But the links are up top. And so on the Innovators Think Tank, you do have the live stream. Now, there are multiple ways. I know Tech in Schools also has, I think it's, I'm something StreamYard. I don't know if they're on Twitch. We have multiple facets, multiple ways for folks to get the information. You also have the live, stream also here on X. The people that are taking classes are given a link to the Slack channel. So if there's questions that they have with the actual tools that have been gifted to them. So, we have a lot of really cool tools. It's not just Divi and cPanels and just a number of really incredible things. Those links and everything are in the Slack channel so that they can do their homework and they can, build the things out. So whenever we have the beginning of the next season, you come in and there's a separate section in the Slack channel that's created for you. And then if you've missed anything, Thursday mornings at 11, we rehash everything. It's a postmortem. So we go through the entire class, but it's the down and dirty. It's an hour instead of the 5-hour span.
Wait, is that
And
Central? 11 Central?
that would be Eastern Standard Time. So we usually end here before 11 o'clock. So we give it 12 hours. So you're a future dweller in the middle of the morning and you should be asleep. We value folks getting the rest that they need. And so we try to make sure that we can catch up with the folks that, in the middle of the night here. We don't want you to ruin your sleep cycle or be unhealthy. So
Definitely, I could do 11 Eastern because that's
Yep.
10 Central. That's my perfect time. That's when
That's
I
your sweet
schedule
spot.
things. So
Yep.
so it's Thursdays, 11 Eastern,
Yep.
10 Central.
So basically, let's see, it would
It's
be
not
about 13
Thursdays.
and a half
I got
hours.
the wrong day.
Yeah.
Which day
Yeah,
is
that's
it?
it. Um, you want it tomorrow. So 13 and a half hours from right now, wherever you are in the world, we will be coming back together and going over what we did. And hopefully those that did not get their modules done, for instance, maybe they'll be able to finish them this evening or before 11 o'clock in the morning. But we want to make sure that everybody is on the same page and that no one gets left behind. So that's how things are run here. And then on Saturdays, we meet in the Innovators Think Tank, which happens at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, our time. The boys are in Colorado, so they have a different time zone. I just have it set Eastern Standard Time. I'm so narcissistic when it comes to time zones. I cannot figure out time zones even with AI's help. So that is an all-day affair. And so after everybody has done their pitches, everybody gets their cup of coffee or beverage of choice, and Nick, Alisher, and Ross from Tech in Schools delight and inspire folks with demonstrations of different AI tools that are not accessible to the public, and we all get to play. It's a giant sandbox. They just put up a link and we get to build stuff, and it's a way to whet folks' appetite in terms of learning new skills with AI and becoming more comfortable with allowing an AI cohort help do the heavy lifting. For instance, in the SAS class that we had in season 1, we didn't have to know how to code. You have my AI tutor that helps use the leverage of multiple large language models to get the code that we would need to create a software as a service. Most of us are not developers. Most of us are like me. We're just like, 50-year-old mom, grandma types. No, I'm not a grandma. Thanks. Thank goodness, not yet. But that's the kind of thing that people who are trying to reinvent themselves and learn new skills and capitalize on having a unique opportunity to have access before other people do. It's kind of neat. Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, I love that you told me about your audience. Now I understand a lot more of what you're trying to accomplish here. And we have similar alignment in goals, which is fantastic. It's good to see other people trying to help other people. Okay, so I personally, I don't know if I ever did an intro in one of these. In fact, I probably haven't ever done an intro because for the past 5 months, I've really struggled with doing an intro, and I just say, "Hi, I'm Bob." I've got to work on that, by the way. I've got to do a post where I say, "Hi, I'm Bob, and I do this," or I do like a 30-second intro video. But I'm not going to do an intro. I'm going to say I'm a little bit of a techie. I've been in tech all my life, and I would be super interested to find out some more of the details of how the underlying system works. So we talked about WordPress and Divi and cPanel. I use WordPress. I've used a lot of content management systems in my time. I started with one called Mambo, and then I used something called Joomla. I've used Drupal, and I really didn't like WordPress to begin with. You know, you like to say 15 years ago, I wasn't keen on WordPress. Anyway, about 4 years ago, I did. I switched to WordPress. For it to do what I want it to do, I've really got to pull it to pieces and put it back together again, which can be a little bit annoying. But I do use it, and that's what I'm building my community website with. I've been doing it for 2 weeks. I started on the 31st, and now it's the 14th, so 2 weeks.
I hope that you come on Saturday. That's your ideal. You need, this is a class, right? So this is like us meeting with the teacher and hoping to build our thing. Everybody has their homework. Everybody has to go through the curriculum and yada, yada. If you come on Saturday, having your, the ability to pitch, they say pitch is kind of the wrong kind of word. Sometimes you're pitching your idea or you're showing your idea, but that's not it at all. Sometimes it's just, hey, I have this, or I would like to introduce myself. And not only that, the New Innovators Think Tank, the website that you are watching the live stream, there's a hub there where you can introduce yourself and introduce yourself to the entire community, because there's always somebody that might need exactly you in their life. And we won't know
I did that.
Yeah.
Like a few months ago, but I think you guys may have changed the system since.
I don't know if the system has changed. We'd have to, that's a Luke question, not a Sarah question. I just make sure people behave in the sandbox. That's my job. And to hand out cookies and to, throw out glitter and, answer questions and put out fires behind the scenes. That's my job. But basically that whole ecosystem is exactly where you need to be. And it would be a bigger audience, not just folks that are trying to build their websites and go to bed tonight, because that's basically it. Because most of these folks here, they've already put in, just like you, a complete day. And we're just watching Ross zip through things to show us exactly how we're building. But by and large, we would have had more to talk about if more of us had done our homework and completed the modules as we were supposed to. But part and parcel of the gig is that we have to know why we're building what we're building instead of just, adding modules. And so this evening's conversation really helped hone and kind of solidify in people's minds exactly what they needed to have. And if you were here early, I don't know, I think you came in a little later, but Sharon basically pointed out, I don't need 5, I needed 3 modules. And going through that and giving ourselves permission basically to say, hey, we might not need 5. We might only need a landing page, or we might only need XYZ. Those are the kinds of things, because most folks in this room, they have never built a website before. And having ownership of this kind of ecosystem and learning it for ourselves. These are free tools. A lot of them are open source tools, but you have to know how to find them. And that's the hard part. And that's where Ross is kind of our digital Sherpa. That's what he does. He leads us up the mountain and goes through the paths of digital, this, that, and the other thing to make sure that we don't fall off cliffs and we get to the summit. I think that's ultimately how awesome it is. But yeah,
So
go ahead.
is there a chance I could get from Ross? Ross, if you're there, if you have time. So I was explaining, I used all these different CMSs in my lifetime. I've used cPanels, I've used dedicated machines and different operating systems and whatnot. I'm interested to find out more technical explanation of your stack. What's your stack?
What do you mean? Stack for what?
Like you heard of let's say LAMP, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, and MERN, MongoDB, Express, MERN, React, and Node. I'm just wondering, do you have a technical, like a quick technical breakdown of what you use? Do you have dedicated servers, AWS? I'm quite technical. I'm quite good at this. And that's my failure. I'm not very good at telling people that I'm good at it. So people are like, what? You know how to program in Java? I'm like, yeah, I've released applications and stuff. So I that's my bad. But if you could give me like some technical stuff, I'd love to hear it.
I mean, we're full stack, full spectrum. So we're pretty much using all the different stacks and technology in our systems, especially in like AI Tutor and Pixio. It's just a complete full stack. I think we have every collection of 4 letters running at the same time that you could imagine. But I don't have a particular stack. I started with the LAMP stack, and then I don't really have a stack anymore. I develop in what works, and if it's something new, I stay up all night and learn it like I did last night, and then launch a new feature. I'm not confined to any 4-letter acronym about how I build. I build with what works. And
No, that's okay. I meant like, do you use Next.js
I use
or
it
are
all.
you using
Like,
Python?
all of it.
Like,
I
what's your?
I just wrote Python this morning and Go last night. I was working in Next.js yesterday, and today I'm working in Nuxt. Like, I go where I need to be. I don't have a particular style. I used to, but now I'm just kind of developing all over the place, because as the programs and as the infrastructure gets more intense, the way we build it also has to be super scalable. So like LAMP.
So you have an infrastructure of everything.
Pretty much.
Your product has ended up being everything.
At this point, yeah. We have over 300 applications on the internet running.
Bob, to give you some inkling, I think it's probably smart to explain that My AI Tutor, Tech in Schools, My AI Tutor and Pixio are 2 of the suite of tools that they have. My AI Tutor is more of the academic and the large language models in AI. And then the Pixio is more of your creative suite of tools. So all of your, I don't know, Ollie or Runway or
Yeah, so
whatever.
I was here for a demonstration
Cool.
one time. Do you remember? I
What?
came in and we were asking questions and we were trying to keep it going, like with more questions. And I dove deep and did the actual testing and tried the feeding between all the different Hugging Face models, so you
Yeah.
can put the output from
So
one.
what we're doing
But
is,
so I want to know what's that based like? How is that built? That's
oh,
kind of the
I see
question
what
I'm
you're
asking.
saying. Okay, so combination of things. One, how Tech in Schools builds out their whole entire system could take days because they just do.
I'll just give you a quick
It's
example
insane.
of like everyone right now today, what they're doing. It's an orchestration platform we built that utilizes the entire stack, even server architecture, because they log in, they click a button, they sign up, they purchase a server for free, because servers normally cost like hundreds of dollars per month, and they purchase cPanel for free. And after hitting a button, everything happens autonomously. Servers get spun up, cPanels get created, databases get rigged, and
It's right.
domains
So
get
is that
authored.
Kubernetes or like is there any like functionality on what?
No, we custom built everything. We built our entire architecture from the ground up.
And we're using his AI tools as the mechanical advantage to fill in the gaps, because all of the words that you just said, I heard as wah 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 wah. Now,
Exactly.
I know there are
This
a
is
lot of
why I
people in the
went a
room
different level.
that
Like
know.
I explained that it's
and
more technical.
I will tell you, AI Pixio, there's parts of it that run on Kubernetes and Docker containers, and we spin up containers with GPUs for every single person.
Awesome.
It's how
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
It's how we achieve unlimited context and unlimited generations across our platforms, because we're containerizing GPUs for everyone.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to know. Have you heard of like, do you have like an OAuth tool that you use? Have you heard of Supabase?
Yeah,
Or
we learned that in season
we're
1.
partnered with Supabase. We're actually partnered with Supabase.
Okay,
Supabase and
awesome.
Vercel
Okay, cool.
and GitHub. That's how we all had to,
Yeah. And for our auth, we don't use anything. It's all custom built. We use like services, but we built our own flow, because AI Tutor and Pixio were super complicated. In addition to the 250 plus applications free for students 24/7.
Okay, so here's the thing. I said the other day in a live stream with somebody that I'm old school. I don't do all this CI/CD stuff, and I've got to learn. Like for instance, Vercel.
No, you absolutely have to learn CI/CD.
Yeah,
it is just the most important thing.
Infrastructure as code, etc. let me finish my thought. So I was in this stream and I said, I'm old school. Like I don't do CI/CD. I don't do infrastructure as code. My machines, they cost me about $500 a month, and it's not GitHub. It's not infrastructure code. It's old school machines, like dedicated machines in a server farm. And do you know what he said? He said, Bob, you're not old school. Oh no, actually, he said, Bob, we're not old school. We're just old. There you go. That was my thought.
Well, I think, you know, it works together for us. So like these servers, what you pay monthly, for example, everyone just got given for free right now during Idea to Impact. So we have a partnership with DigitalOcean. Everyone got real bare metal servers that are like 8 gigabytes of RAM, and these are not CI/CD. But when it comes to, you know, snapshotting data, if you don't CI/CD, you don't kind of have your repository of code change by change, even if you don't deploy that way. It's really good to like keep your code in snapshots. It has done so much good for us. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Being
I've
able to go
just
back
been
in time.
learning. So the only Git that I've done over the past 30 years is Git clone. So I can build and install on my machine open source code. And I started learning the fundamentals of Git. So I am going towards that. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm doing it in public, live streaming, creating educational content, videos and whatnot for that. I'll get there. I will get there. But I can't wait to make it easier for myself, because this old school way of doing it, or because I'm old, I do it in the old way. It is hard work.
Well, hopefully you have orchestration tools like cPanel to make your life a lot easier.
No, I don't use cPanel. I do it from the OS with the confs and Vim and whatnot.
Yeah, I would definitely try cPanel before going.
Yeah, I've
into,
used
like,
cPanel. I don't want to
serverless.
use cPanel. I do not.
Well, cPanel's awesome. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to use them. They're probably one of the most stable platforms in the entire planet right now.
I would go with the Docker and Kubernetes and infrastructure as code probably.
Well, it supports all that right now, like Node.js, Kubernetes, containers, Dockers. We use it to run a bunch of Dockers actually. Definitely give it a check it out. But anyways, guys,
How much is the license for that?
And real quick, Ross, I just wanted to tell everybody, and I like the conversation flowing here, but everybody that's on the live stream, if you guys weren't paying attention, Ross has been doing hard work, working hard, and he made a cool pop up. I was laughing at it, and he's been going hard on this landing page. And just because we're running out of time here, Bob, I love the comments and everything. I highly recommend you get in the hub and introduce yourself, and come to ITTs on Saturdays to definitely pitch as well. But anyways, we're nearing the end of the class. But Ross, I know you were about to go in there, and I'll stop stepping on your toes and let you showcase the showcase.
It was so cool. I was watching it too, Cash Money. It was so cool how fast he builds this darn web page. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he makes Lightning McQueen look slow. Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah, the tools make it really easy. And to answer your question really quickly, cPanel, depending on your usage and how many websites you need, will be what you pay. You can start out paying $12 or $15. But luckily, we've been partnering with cPanel for about 8 years now. And everyone here actually gets free cPanel, which is really nice. So all their servers have cPanel fully equipped on a pro plan. So like, yeah, some tools cost money, but sometimes you need the best tool for the job. Like I wouldn't waste my time with Vim at all in a production like environment. It would just take too long to fix the problem. And Brendan, you have a question? Because then I'm gonna go into like what I did, why I did it, how you can do it, and go to Slack because I put a plug in there you guys are gonna need.
Hey guys, I will try to be very quick. When Bobby told you about Joomla, it unlocked a memory from college that a colleague showed me Joomla, and I learned about WordPress. And I have a suggestion for you guys. Even if you are planning to learn to code a website from the ground up, it's very interesting to learn with this kind of tools, WordPress, Joomla, how the big building blocks work. Like before learning how to build bottom up, I believe it's beneficial to like change the mindset of a website user, that you go straight to what you want to do in autopilot, to see how the sites work behind the scenes, like what admin panel needs to do, what the WordPress post creation page looks like. You need a login page, you need an admin, you need a about page. So I suggest you guys take this opportunity to learn the building blocks of a website, even if you are not planning to use WordPress long term.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you should learn everything, no matter what the thing is. Like I had to learn Go because it was written in Go and I didn't know Go. So I just had to learn it. And I think everyone should try everything. And if you want to compare Divi and Elementor, you should compare them all. Honestly, there's a bunch. But I know along my journey getting here, it's like, there's like a lot I had to learn. And one of the most valuable things was digital assets that I could use and reuse. So like everyone here, you can just make websites and sell them to people. And like, you don't got to give me money, no one to write a check to. You all have your own licenses. We've generated keys for everyone. And I think things like that are what we should look out for. Ways to level up, learn something new. Even how we did we're going to bring back, by the way, the complexity, but it's going to be different. Josh Hellman doesn't know about it, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to have to do 2 versions of this. It's going to be like the regular version and then the super ultra crazy version. And so we'll have like, I did an Impact Advanced and I did an Impact Regular. And we're going to go through more things regarding building the SaaS and the GitHub and using Planet Scale and using Drizzle ORM. What is that? And you're going to be able to like definitely take that next level if you want to, but it won't be the baseline. We learned that from season 1. See, season 1 was great, but there were some people who had no idea what they said. Yes, I want to do this too. And a lot of people realized that it was not going to be like 1, 2, 3. So that's why we're going to have a separated version of it. So the next season will be a little bit different. But what we're doing now is it'll allow you to build and actually build something on the internet and not have to worry about money. It's like the best case situation. You have a server, SSL, space, memory, databases, you can just build. And you have real-time support with the server, with our team. And if we need help, we have a team to help us, which are our partners. So if you're in here, I think it's a great opportunity to follow along if you have WordPress and build something with us. And if you like what you're doing, join us, after this. We're going to do it again. And it's going to be something a little bit different. This time around, we're focusing right now today on the landing page. So what I did was I literally chose a Divi theme. Everyone gets about 200 themes inside their Divi. I picked one. I started customizing it. I went to Pixio. I started generating logos, generating content for the front page. Went to AI Tutor, generated some text that I needed. Still have to get more. Honestly, I was a little lazy. The only one I did was the quote from Ross. Right here. But yeah, all these new graphics, this is from Pixio. And so this logo, also Pixio, courtesy of Flux. So what you want to do is design your page. And then what I did is I started building out the automation. So we're going to get to that next time. And guess what? I have a fun surprise for everyone next class. Regardless of what subscription level you hold on AI Tutor, we are going to use, we're going to make bots for our website. That will work for real. I'm going to launch a specific version of Botcraft Pro outside of AI Tutor. So every person will be able to test it out and make a bot and put it on their website. And if you do have an AI Tutor, you'll be able to integrate it and it'll stay up forever. But everyone will get a chance to play with it, integrate our tech onto their webpage, and have an auto selling, lead generating, relentless AI that's also super nice and probably like a little bit sassy. That's always the fun ones. Now, if you noticed on my page when I refresh, a pop-up comes up. That's courtesy of a new pop-up. I encourage you to explore, and we're going to get to your homework. My pop-up says, my amazing pop-up, and there's a dude there. It could be whatever you want. This is the beginning of automation, the beginning of the subscriber box, the beginning of the your next chill on your pop-up. And then you're going to have another pop-up if they X out of that pop-up. You know, like you can create cool things. Then next class, we're going to focus on the building of the community, which means turning WordPress into something that is like an application. It looks like does not look like WordPress. It's almost like WordPress gets deleted, and we are actually going to give you guys some technology to do this. Some paid technology. Don't you love the paid plugins? You guys do. You know you do. So your homework, and if you don't do your homework, it's on you. It's your problem, not mine, because I'm not even reviewing it. Just like today, did not review the homework. Homework review stopped after week 2. You have to just get over it and go with the flow and start doing your homework. So today's homework is 5 plugins and a fully done page, like a lead generation, landing page, whatever. Fully done. Like if it says lorem ipsum, you didn't do it right. You can use whatever you want. I don't care how you do it. You just got to change, like pick one, stick with it, design it. Learn Divi. Learn what buttons do what. And then 5 plugins. I gave you your first one. It's called Pop-Up Something. Find more. Find cool things that could help you. Like maybe a YouTube embed, if that's you. Or like an Instagram embed, whatever you want. Then we're going to review them, set them up properly, which will take a little bit because we're going to go one by one with all y'all, which is always the most fun ones. And then we're going to continue building the membership part. Then we're going to build the courses part. So you guys are going to be able to offer courses for money. And you charge people to watch your courses. They'll have you'll have an admin panel, like a way to sell the courses. Then we're going to link it to the landing page and then backlink that to the CRM. It's going to be fun. We have a lot to do.
I know we do. Ross, just a quick question. I don't understand. I always thought a landing page is just one page. I don't get it.
It is. This is just one page.
And 5, okay, so people really do need to, they scroll down. Okay, so just one page with 5 pop-ups.
Yeah.
With five, not 5 pop-ups,
No,
with
no.
5 plugins.
No, we want to use plugins in our one page, not 5 pages. Big difference.
Just 5 plugins in that one page. Okay, got it.
Like, for example, I can have a pop-up plugin on my page. In addition, I can have a Beehive plugin. In addition, I can have an embed plugin, so I can embed my video. And then I can have a social sharing plugin, right? All that can work together. No one's going to hate each other. Everyone's going to play nice.
I have a dumb question.
And basically, that's our next
I have a
step.
really dumb question. What if I'm a Luddite and I don't like all of the bells and whistles and flashing things or hitting a landing page and you're at work and it makes a loud noise and all of your coworkers look at you? Can you make this a landing page with 5 plugins that are like silent and not obvious and maybe just
Of course.
sneaky
The
beaky?
plugins could be
I don't want
like
a whole
the
bunch of this
pop-up
crap.
could not be a pop-up, and it could be you move your mouse to the left side of the screen, there's an arrow. If you click the arrow, it comes out. Totally non-invasive.
All right, so we don't need like glitter and bells and whistles and here's my
No.
Insta and oh by the way, buy a
But
used
you got to
car
tell your
salesman.
Luddite
You know.
self, like go in the mirror and tell your Luddite self that like this is a landing page on a website. You need to get someone's attention, or like what's the point? Delete it now.
Can't you just use a really cool graphic that is definitely one
Gotta
to
be
make
good.
people
It's
laugh?
not good. It's not for you. It's for them. So you got to show your friends, not yourself.
So Sarah, what you're trying to say is that, as soon as somebody jumps on your site and
They're
like that.
going to disown me and it's going to wreck Christmas. That's what it's going to happen. Smoke. I'll just tell you, if you've never had a marketing class or you don't know the kinds of things that make people want to push buttons, find a website that you love and that you think is fun, that you like to visit yourself, and at the very bare minimum, emulate the things that you like to see out in the wild. I am joking, and carrying on that way. But go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I was actually gonna waiting for others to get their questions out. I wanted to ask Ross. I created in Botcraft Pro. I created a bot that is.
Yeah, I know your question. Yes, you could bring it to your
No,
site.
no, no. That's not the question.
Okay.
The question is this: the bot that I created is effectively a tutor for AI Tutor, and I'm just wondering if that's
cool.
something that you think is useful.
Share it with me. Just send me a direct link and I'll try your bot.
Well, I got to figure out how to do that, but okay, I will.
You just go into your bot settings and get the public link and give it to me. That's it.
Okay, I'll figure it out.
So it'll say you go to like integrations. It looks like a puzzle piece, and then you just choose HTML5 and then choose the public link and send to me.
Okay.
But yeah, you guys should make a bot, Jeff, and put it on your website.
Well, I intend to. That's when you said what you just did. I'm like, oh, cool. That was my next plan. Is how do I get that damn thing on my website?
And that goes for everyone that has an AI tutor. So you'll be able to create a bot and have it live on your website and see what everyone says to it all day long. And then when someone talks too much, you could just be like, you talk too much. Shut up. See you in 2 hours.
But isn't the goal just to keep them there? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
It depends. It depends. You could leave them on 24/7 like I do. I would. But then like you could be like, oh, at 8 p.m. He goes sleep. So you gotta chat with him before 8. Like you could do whatever you want. Like it doesn't matter. But you could have it 24/7 because obviously it doesn't breathe and doesn't have blood and organs. It's AI. So you're good. But any questions for the homework? I expect everyone to do the homework. Remember, if you don't do the homework, I don't care. You just hurt yourself.
For those of you that need help, definitely tomorrow morning. That would be in about 14 hours. Well, wait a second. Yeah, something like that. No, 13 hours. So definitely, if you are struggling or need help, come on Thursday morning. So I'll just leave it there. Go ahead, Dan. Dan, did you have a question or no? Or are you just throwing hearts? I think he's just throwing hearts. All right. So to each and every one of you that has showed up tonight, you know what your homework is. If you are behind, you know that you have extra homework. Obviously, we have Kirk and he has his afterglow. This is in the teacher's lounge, or I guess it could be recess. Depends on how you want to put it. Definitely wonderful time of fellowship amongst fellow Pocket family, and the sparring of ideas. You know what your mission is, folks, and you know why you're here. If you're here just to listen in and whittle away the hours, yes, to some extent this is time well wasted, but is it really unregrettable minutes, as Mr. Elon likes to say? You only have a certain amount of time, and you want to make sure that every single moment you've stretched to the max and made it filled it with the stuff that matters. Hopefully that you are building something that you are truly passionate about and that you want to see out in the wild, that you're willing to go the extra mile to make sure that it happens. And if you haven't gotten to that point yet, that is something that you're going to have to marinate on. That you have to ask the question, why are you here? Is it just because this happens to be a space that's not a bunch of yelling and screaming and there's some interesting folks building some interesting things? Deep down, I think a lot of us, I know I am one of these people. I love being around other people that are doing stuff. that are being productive, that are creating wonderful things, that are thinking beyond themselves and trying to build something beyond themselves, something bigger than themselves, something that they probably won't be able to finish by themselves, that they need to pass on that legacy project so that it can get bigger and better and awesome. So just put that out there. I want to commend each and every one of you that has spent the last 3 hours with us, that you've invested time in yourself and that you've tithed that moment to build something. It's not easy to show up when you don't want to show up. It's not easy to pull an extra hour or an extra couple shifts after you've already done 2 for the day. It's very difficult to stay up, take notes, and be disciplined and do the hard work when those around you are calling it a day. We get it. We understand. But I want to tell you, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of each and every one of you for showing up. This is week 4 out of 6. We are 2/3 of the way done. And next week is pretty much the last week, because we always know that week 6 is, tying up loose ends and showing off our handiwork.
But remember, there's an extra week this
Yes.
time.